Baronet. Make sure that Adrian never knows about the villain that I was, but instead, that he remembers the times I tried to be a good father.
Oh hell no! Hello you sick maniacs and welcome to this video rant about the season 5 finale of Miraculous. This won't have that much editing, but I still wanted to talk about it, because I feel like not many talk about this particular subject. I hope you like it and leave a like and a follow because it is... Alright, let's just get into it. To add a little bit of context here, I am a veteran Miraculous fan. The first time I really started to follow this show, there was only season 1 released. At the time, the fact that Gabriel is Hawkmoth was still a theory. Yeah, that's how far I was in this fandom. And trust me when I say, following this show since then was a whole ass journey. I still remember the days when the first episode of season 3 and 4 released, and then like a week later, some dumb Brazilian channel would drop the 20th episode without context, leaving everyone in a state of deep confusion. Yeah, the episode's release schedule were a mess. Of course, in the show, there were some good things, some bad things, some very, very bad things, and while I'm kind of itching to bring some stuff to the table so I can just vent about how bad it was, this is not the subject of this video, because today we're gonna talk about the season 5 finale, aka the finale of the Agrest arc, aka fucking Gabriel! Again, for context, the Agrest arc was legitimately one of the most hyped up thing in the show. It was maybe one of the most intriguing plot of the story, and its conclusion was highly awaited, especially considering the fact that the end of this arc took 5 seasons to conclude. So when we had confirmation that season 5 would be the conclusion to that arc, everyone was deep on their chair, itching to finally get the finale that Miraculous was supposed to get. And then it finally happened. And did it live to the hype? No. Okay, this finale was... something. I mean, there was some good aspect, I guess, but overall it was pretty terrible. I mean, take this for example. The show is called Miraculous, the tale of Ladybug and Cat Noir. The villain is his dad, and somehow he managed to get even less screen time than freaking Natalie, and she was dying! And that's one of the many things people lash out about this finale. But personally, my biggest problem isn't this, but rather...
You're not wearing it?
When Ladybug gave it to me, she told me how my father helped her to defeat Monarch at the cost of his life.
Okay, so for those living in a cave, Miraculous is about a girl named Marinette and a guy named Adrian. They turn into superheroes, Ladybug and Cat Noir, to fight off the villain Hawkmoth, who's actually Adrian's dad. His objective is to get the Miraculouses of Ladybug and Cat Noir to make a wish, this wish being reviving his wife. The problem though is that for every wish, there's a sacrifice. Oh, and there's also a love square shifting to an hexagon by season 2, but it's not important right now. What's important is that in the finale of this whole mess, Gabriel actually manages to get the Miraculouses and make a wish. And it's quite weird because a lot of people were confused about what exactly he did, so I'm gonna explain right there. Gabriel wished to revive Natalie in exchange for his own life. And yes, I say revive because she definitely died in this scene. And no, the woman you see at the end is not Emily, but Amelie, Adrian's aunt. Before leaving, Gabriel still asked Marinette to not tell his son he was Hawkmoth. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god, you are lucky Marinette honored your wish, because if I were her, trust me when I say I would have snitched in a heartbeat. And if you don't see what's the problem, let me drop this. Gabriel is an asshole. Even worse actually. All because he was too clingy to his wife to move on, he decided to put an entire city in a state of panic and fear. I mean, imagine not being allowed to feel fear, anger, or even sadness, because there's a chance that if you do, Hawkmoth could transform you into a monster terrorizing the city against your will. Imagine seeing your baby turn into a giant and terrorizing the city, fearing for your safety but also for your baby because you have no idea if he's gonna hurt himself. Imagine hurting your family and friends because you felt a little depressed and then were tricked by a jerk that doesn't know what's the 5th stage of grief. Imagine being a kid harming your parents and then discovering the fact after Ladybug frees you from Hawkmoth's grasp. It's not shown in the series, but I can assure you that the percentage of people seeking therapy just skyrocketed. Countless people had their lives thrown around by this douche. And because he saved Natalie, it's okay now he's a hero? Hell Hell no! That's just straight up pure madness. Gabriel is a coward. You want us to remember you as a good father? When were you a good father? And don't even think about the time you tried to make pancakes, because the second after that you tried to manipulate your son only to go and acclimatize him. How is that a good father thing? Not only that, but you also put your son's image into every alliance design without his consent. Tried to force him in a relationship he clearly didn't want. For most of the series, kept him home, forbidding him to have friends over. For fuck's sake, you were this close to not even grant him the wish to go to school in the first season. And somehow you want him to remember you as a good father? And don't you dare tell me, yeah, but there were times he was a good father, because every time he was, the next second he would throw this scene in the trash. Remember when he finally decided to give up and went on stage to hug his son and finally be there for him? Well, not even 10 minutes after this, he sees Chloe with a new Miraculous and throws his development out the window. He was not ever a good father, and the few times he tried, he would go back to his old ways in like 3 minutes. Yeah, but he revived Natalie. Fucking right he did. May I remind you that her death was his fault in the first place? Yes, she made the decision, but after a while he could have easily told her to stop using the Miraculous. Heck, he's the one who started this whole mess of chasing the Miraculous, leading to this. And even after all of that, he would throw her sacrifice out the window. Remember the first episode of season 5? How he could have ended this whole ordeal by dropping this USB. Gabriel was terrible. Saving Natalie was literally the least he could do. And even then, excuse me, but what exactly do we owe him? He terrorized an entire city, puts its inhabitant in a state of constant fear. Fear that they had to conceal in order to not put other people in danger. Was this close to destroy the life of his son and his son's friend, but boo-hoo, he doesn't want his son to know what he did. Dude, what about the countless people whose life you almost ruined? How about the teenagers whose life you almost destroyed? What about your associate that literally died for you? But no, my son, bitch, he should be the first to know about this. Honestly, Marinette is doing a disservice. Adrian must know. It's like keeping the fact that your dad is a serial killer. Yes, it would be horrible, but honestly, I would like it more to know this instead of someone telling me he was actually a fucking hero. He doesn't deserve that. That's literally the worst outcome. And because of his cowardice, he's never going to face any consequences, even after his death. Because remember, this scene is shown as him finally joining his wife. Okay, so first, you don't deserve it. Second, oh, how great, instead of being here for his son, he decided it's better to go leaving his son as an orphan. I know for a fact that Emily is gonna spank his ass in the afterlife, because what the actual fuck? And I could argue again for hours, but I think that's enough. And trust me, there's a lot I'd like to talk on this show, like how this dumbstruck decided it would be a good idea to bestow the safety of all Paris to insecure and unsure middle schoolers because he had the reflex to save them from Trucken. But I don't have the energy. Again, like and subscribe. In the description is my social medias and my shop, and I'm fucking out of here.